Warning, this game contains content might not be suitable for most audiences. Viewers' discretion is advised. Hello everyone, my name is Lion and welcome to Run Out of Blood. Now this is another erotic horror visual novel that just dropped a couple of hours ago. It looked fairly promising. The art was the first thing that caught my eye. But this is another story where your car breaks down midway as you're driving back home and you decide to like pop into a stranger's house, and of course nothing bad ever happens. Also, I'd just like to give a disclaimer that this game is for 18 and above only, so keep in mind of that. Minors, please do not interact. But without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? Oh, I hate this already. Oh, why is there a child? Oh! My Betty was born in a difficult time. Too tiny, weak, and frail for this cruel world. She seemed so small and defenseless, but every day, her little hands cling to me more and more tightly. I want to see her as soon as I can, and hug her tenderly. This time, I came back later than usual. My practice was supposed to end a week ago, but it was postponed due to the weather conditions. And all this time, I was worried about my daughter. Even though my parents don't mind to babysit her when I ask them, it's hard for me to not be around my baby for a long time. Betty doesn't get along with anybody except me and becomes more naughty with age, but she behaves nice when I'm around. Fortunately, this is the final study year. However, the probability that there will be more free time at work is negligible. But even in this case, I won't have to leave anymore. Now I'm going to become a laboratory assistant, and instead of going to the mountains, I'll start doing much quieter work. Conducting tests in a sterile laboratory, writing reports, and then returning home to my daughter in the evening. This is my perfect routine. I wish it would be like that. Leaving the stream of thought, I turn on the radio. It doesn't seem to work, and so music. There's only noise with intermittent melodic sobs. These sounds are somehow calming, and I decide not to change anything. Man, I am wondering if like MC is okay in the head. The weather is nice today, and autumn leaves on the trees are shining brighter under the sun's rays, distracting me with their golden glimmer. I lower the sun visor and keep watching the road. There weren't much rainy days this week. The autumn coolness makes itself felt. Opening a window a little, I let fresh air into the car's interior while shivering a little from the cold. A hot thermos with tart ginger tea is here to save me. Now looking away from the road, I open the metal lid and bring the cylinder with warm liquid to my mouth. Hot water burns my lips with a pleasant pain, and the spicy sharpness spreads down the throat. Body slowly warming up, and my exhale turns to steam. We weren't allowed to rest on the practice. Now it's a good time to cheer up. I'm very tired. Maybe I should stop. Hey! Man, watch where you're going! Jesus! Maybe if you had paid more attention to the road rather than the ominous sobbing, like you wouldn't be in this situation. Seems like something flashed away and crashed right into the hood. My head is spinning. It's getting nauseous. It's hard to breathe because of the pressure on my chest. I hardly open the car's door and fall down on the ground. My hands are hurting from scratching stones, but this pain helps to clear my mind. I need to get up. Straining up, my legs carry me to the hood of a floundering car, and my eyes are constantly trying to detect something. My gaze is suddenly stopped by a red line stretching from the road somewhere towards the bushes. For some reason, I follow this trail. Oh dear! Small hooves among the branches of bushes attract my attention. It's dead. Walking unsteadily, I come back to the car and nervously pat my pockets trying to find a phone. Once I find it, I realize that it simply doesn't work. I should have charged it before the car ride instead of crazily sprinting back home. I fall down, absolutely drained, and look at the severely broken car, the side of which is absolutely destroyed by a tree trunk. I finally paid off the car loan. Then I look at myself to check for any possible injuries. It's hard to breathe and my whole body is tense, but surprisingly, nothing seems to hurt. Maybe I don't feel anything because of the shock, and I touch my head and neck more carefully to figure it out. No fractures, no sprains. I think I got lucky. Finally, I'm standing up slowly, but the realization of what happened still doesn't fully come to me. I need to do something about this. Also, I'm just gonna say, like, this intro reminds me very much of either, like, Amnesia or, like, The Forest, actually. Kinda like it. It's pretty atmospheric. In theory, I could go by foot to the nearest settlement. I remember there were some villages before the city on the map. On the other hand, going somewhere in the state is not a bright idea, but I could wait for some passing car inside, despite the steam from under the hood. I'm not sure how often someone rides here, but I've got no phone with me, so that's the only possible variant. Oh, frick. Stay in the car, go down the road. I'm gonna make a save. I will go down the road. Nothing bad happens from leaving your car in the middle of the woods. I would like to check the car condition first. After quickly checking the car's body, I bend my knees and look at the wheel, or to be more specific, a place where it used to be. The brake disc is split almost in two. Now, even if I manage to start the engine, trying to ride it will be it's going to be a death attempt. Getting up from the ground and turning off the car, I wave off the steam and opening the hood, run my eyes over the insides of my Lada. At first glance, there's no serious damage. I can only hope that the car was lucky enough to not get completely broken on the inside. The only severe damage was the wheel. Carefully closing the cover, I dust on my hands and already moved away from the car. I look at it with a farewell glance. Lovely. I've been walking without any result for an hour or two already. It's better if I would have stayed here, or gone. I still didn't see any car. Every step gives off aching tension in my muscles, and my eyes are sticking together from overwork. The road flashes before my eyes, and only the annoying trilling of birds does not allow me to doze off along the way. It's getting late. Now it's cooler outside. My work uniform can warm up even in the worst conditions. I grab the cold air with my mouth while yawning, and a chill passes further down my throat, which is why, after swallowing, I hug myself in order to calm the goosebumps on my body. Without phone, time feels too vague, and it's not that dark yet. Is that a house? Looks like it. Around 3 kilometers away from me, there is some construction on the hill. I don't even believe my eyes at first and think that I'm just too tired, but my legs, ignoring the weight on my body, carry me faster and faster to this place. My chest even tingles with joy. As I get closer, I can see a 2-story mansion decorated with flowers, on the porch of which there is someone in a straw hat. Afraid to disturb, I approach quietly, but this person still notices me halfway. Hello, beautiful! I respond to their gaze with a silent gesture of greeting. Excuse me. Finally catching up with them, I notice a young man with turquoise blue eyes. The guy listens attentively about what happened and, throughout the story, thoughtfully nods at every word I say. What a pity that this happened to you. But most importantly, it's good that you're okay. He smiles to me in a gentle way. My family, of course, won't refuse to help you. Let's go. I'll give you the phone without any problems. With a soft gesture of his hand, he points to the front door. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Michelle. What's yours? Yeah, I don't want to tell my real name to some stranger. Should I lie? I'm still gonna give my real name. It's Lion. What happens if I stick with Rebecca? I mean, huh. Would that change the dialogue? I'm just curious. Michelle only smiles and we're coming in. Oh, it doesn't. I'm gonna go with Lion. One moment. The young man goes to the hangar, takes off his hat, hangs his gloves on the hook, and returns, walking away to the doorway. I hear him starting to talk with someone, and I come a little closer. Oh! Hi! Meet Lion. This is Viorel. The sophisticated man sitting at the table nods at me with a smile. You can just call me Vil. And I respond to him with a little nod in return. Sit down. Make yourself at home. They glance at each other, and then Michelle looks at me again. Vil is a doctor. He can check you out if you want to. I would love for Vil to check me out, please. No, thank you. I think I'll stay. I'll have a seat. I'll go with you. I'll stay. Stay. Yes, stay. I'd rather stay here. Okay, then. I'll go away for a minute and bring you a phone. Enjoy your time. Michelle walked away from the dining room into the hallway and disappeared into its semi-darkness. I fully entered through the doorway and stood awkwardly at its edge, putting my hands in my pockets. Thankfully, the man began to read without trying to make any small talk with me. As I'm waiting, my gaze begins to wander around the dining room. The first thing that catches my attention is a table, placed in the center of the room. There stands a very lonely service, snow-white sugar bowl, teapot, and a couple of cups on a flat saucer. Other dishes sparkle at me from the side cabinets, so clean. Looks like you can see your own reflection even from this point. But even though the atmosphere is homely, I feel uncomfortable. Everything here seems alien. In oppressive expectation, I turn my gaze to the floor and peer at the wooden boards, the color of which merges with my shoes. It looks so nondescript that I get tired of trying to see at least something and blink quickly a couple of times, trying to relieve tension. Maybe it's because of the lightning, but there's definitely not enough brightness. To give my eyes a rest from the dullness, I continue to look around, looking for Michelle to come back. At least pictures on the wall add some liveliness to this place. Running my eyes over the paintings of sparkling wines and food, I suddenly focus on the passage to the left. Even at the entrance, I heard the distant sounds of water, but now it sounds even clearer, straight from there. However, the source of the noise is still hidden behind the wall, limiting my view. I'm just looking through this hole, as if expecting something. Who's there? As if reading my thoughts, through the flow from the tap, a sharp voice reaches me, from the surprise of which I freeze. Go and check it out by yourself. For some reason, Vil answers him playfully, without looking up from the book. Ah! The water tap closes noisily, and I hear decisive steps to meet us. Yo, hi! God, why is everyone in this house hot? Here comes a tall man of strong build who stands out from the general atmosphere with his brightness. Fiery hair with dark ends and torn clothes are screaming about this person's belonging to some subculture. After a moment, his face changes its expression to surprise when he finally notices my presence in the room. And who even is this? I ignore the undisguised irritated gaze and turn my head to the hallway, trying not to attract any attention to myself. At this moment, I'm more worried about Michelle's long absence. Lion is our dearest guest. Please, be nicer to her, Duck. Duh. I don't know whether he's looking at me at the moment, but I feel a hostile prick in my back. The hell is she doing here? This lady got in trouble, in which we decide to help. It's not that often when someone comes to us themselves. The floorboards creak under the tall man, and his voice became rougher and more dissatisfied. Derek obviously wasn't glad to meet me, but I can't understand the reason of his hostility. So what? Where do we start to help out some stray strangers? Excuse me? I blurted this out without thinking, but immediately after that, I stopped myself. It would have been better if I didn't interfere. I'm not willing to argue at all right now. His eyes lazily turned to me, not hiding his irritation. Weren't you taught to mind your own business? He looks at me with unflappable impudence. And he is the one who tells me to mind my own business. But I swallow this bitter sense and bury my eyes into the floor. However, it doesn't help to avoid the conversation. After a second, the man's legs easily push off from the ledge and his figure grows right in front of me. Whoa, ho, hey, get him close there, mate. Why are you so silent now, huh? If you have something to say, go ahead. I'm all ears. Now, in addition to open hostility, this man's tone is full of undisguised mockery. I thought it was flirting. What on earth is wrong with him? What's happening? I move my eyes to the Ville, and he looks at us with some sort of anticipation. Did they purposely set it up? Duh. My prolonged silence doesn't make the situation any better. Before throwing another dose of poison at me, he bends down at an indecently close distance. You should look at a person you're talking to. I freeze immediately. The tone of his voice and his look now seems neutral, but provocation literally feels like a weight on my shoulders, squeezing the air around us. My body refuses to move, but despite the reasonable fear, I gulp, reminding myself that I have nothing to dread. What ya? With springy sharpness, he grabs me by the collar and immediately drives me into the wall. Into the wall! Dull pain throbs through the skull and my eyes reflexively squint. What the? Comes out of me with a painful exhalation. He only hesitates for a second and turns behind his back. Regaining consciousness at the same moment, I, like a psycho, start twitching from side to side, scratching the hands that were grabbing me. The approaching tears cloud the view in my eyes. Because of the panic, I start suffocating. Suddenly, he presses his torso into me and tilts my neck aside. His red hair rubs my cheek, and an incomprehensible sweet smell hits my nostrils. Whoa, what is he doing? That is sharp pain in my shoulder, like a shot, made me freeze. A strangled squeak comes out of my mouth. With a grinding sound, my teeth and eyes are clenching from pain. Everything is bursting inside. It feels like a sharp and burning sting pierced me. The impulse of agony painfully spreads all over my body to the very tips of my fingers and hits the temple with a new rush. I can hear my racing heart. It beats so hard that everything just drowns in the sound. It's like my skin is being drilled, splitted, burned in the painful spot. My jaw, squeezed to the point of pain, let out another scream. I'm trying to open my eyes, regain control. The feelings, scent, and sounds are mixing into one substance. Now I don't even understand where I am. I'm dizzy. Cold sweat runs down my eyelids, thereby forcing them to close even more, to the point of sparks, which were now dancing in front of my eyes instead of a clear view. A ringing noise, resembling a voice, seeps into the veil of sensations. The pain is growing, then it retreats for just a second, and with a new wave, crashes me with doubled intensity. The frantic pounding of my heart silences all sounds outside my body without slowing down its rhythm. And yet, as if gnawing into the skull, here comes a sharp creak, and with it, a methodical blow appears, almost getting lost behind the pulse of my body. In a new position, I try to open my eyes again, and the light sharply hurts my pupil for this desperate attempt. The foggy sound behind me becomes clearer, but continues to hit my head from the inside, approaching and vibrating on the skin and then moving away, drowning in its own breath. After a moment, the pain in me melts, giving me a place to a new, intoxicating sensation. Wave of this feeling, spreading over the body, penetrates into my mind, and rolling my eyes, I surrender to it completely. I am sorry? So we can't just end it right there, right? I'm gonna have a seat. I'll have a seat. Perfect. Then I'll go away for a minute and bring you a phone. Enjoy your time. Michelle walked away from the dining room into the hallway and disappeared into its semi-darkness. I looked awkwardly at my new acquaintance and with a modest smile, sat down on the nearest chair from the exit. It was uncomfortable to wait with someone in complete silence, but there was no other choice. Phil wasn't confused with my company at all, and he curiously looked at me with his purple eyes that were very calm and attentive. He seemed even too interested, which made me feel tense, but yeah, I didn't show it. There's nothing wrong, I guess, but moments like that always make me anxious. Weirdly enough, but people's interest kills the desire to talk to them in the most efficient way. He narrowed his eyes and started talking to me. Relax, Lion. There's nothing to worry about. The main thing is that you're okay, and your car will be evacuated by morning. Seems like Vil noticed my wariness, but he's probably right. I need to come to my senses and think about how to deal with a broken car and be in the suburbs in the morning. Bowing my head, I looked down on the floor with a tired gaze, in so many thoughts. Now, I could take a taxi, but such a long trip will definitely cost an insane amount of money. Anyway, I think I have enough. I slapped the sides of the vest, but there's no wallet. Damn, I left it in the car. There's no point in going back. I'll have to beg the driver to get to the car as well. What are you thinking about, honey? Honey! A little fast, don't you think? But I don't mind it. Oh! Hi. I turned my head to the dark-haired man that kept watching me without changing his pose. He didn't move even for a bit, like he didn't breathe, and his smile added even more unnaturalness to his image. In addition to my embarrassment, he caused sensations strange and unusual, even disturbing. Is this the first time you're feeling like attraction to someone? Nothing special. Around him, I feel like an object for observation. His eyes examine every small detail in me, like a microscope, and nothing can hide away from his methodical look. Sneaks in, slides, undresses, and is about to open me, about to enter with a cold scalpel. Are you married? This question took me by surprise. Vil's gaze, just like a razor, passes over my hand with a wedding ring, and I remove it from the table in confusion. Yeah, for 5 years already. This is a pre-made story about my marriage to satiate annoying guys. And one time I even bought a ring for this to sound believable. Me and my husband live in different cities because of my studies, but I often visit him and my daughter. His eyebrows rise in surprise. You two have a child. You don't look like someone who's had a daughter. Yeah, she'll be 3 this year. Half-hearted truth, but the mention of children immediately makes such seducers lose interest. Regretfully to me, Vil, seems to become more energetic, and his look felt even sharper. Maybe he didn't believe me? What's happening over there? The loud voice appears on the left side, and it distracts me from our pleasant conversation. Sounds of water become quieter, and someone emerges from the entrance, cursing along the way. Yo, what's up? I completely forgot your name already. The red-haired man appeared, and I could tell by his reaction he didn't expect to see me here. He immediately turns to Vil, folding his arms crosswise. Who's this? Ugh. You should be the one to ask such questions, personally. Actually, doesn't matter. You're the guest here. He sees me for the first time and already acts incredibly mean. Yeah, I'm Lion. My name's Lion. His eyes lazily turn to me, not hiding his irritation. Lion, huh? The hell you're doing out here? He leans possessively on the ledge and with a crushing look turns my early courage into confusion. What is there even to say to someone so rude? I glance in Vil's direction, but he doesn't interfere, as if he wasn't there in the first place. Maybe for them, it's a common thing, but talking to a stranger like that is way too much. I got into an accident. Michelle and Vil courteously agreed to help me. And you're like, sure you'll get any help? Why? Now, in addition to open hostility, the man's tone is full of undisguised mockery. Where is Vil to interrupt the conversation? What's going on? it would be wiser to ignore his aggression, but I better end this conflict right now. I think it's none of your business. I can't help but admit that the strangest words hurt me. The phrase that seemed appropriate to me actually sounded a little more hostile than I wanted. As I could tell by his face, he was also hoping for a different answer. Processing my words, he rapidly frowns his eyebrows, and his teeth start to show off in the position of a caustic grin. Tuh. After a second, his legs easily push off from the ledge, and a man's figure rises right in front of me. Before throwing another dose of poison at me, he bends down at an indecently close distance. Say that again? I freeze immediately. The tone of his voice and his look now seem neutral again, but provocation earlier literally feels like a weight on my shoulders, squeezing the air around us. My body refuses to move, but despite the reasonable fear, I gulp, reminding myself that I have nothing to dread. Listen, I don't know what you want from me. Hey! With springy sharpness, he grabs me by the collar, immediately drives me into the wall. Again? Dull pain throbs through my skull and my eyes reflexively squint. I'm guessing you're gonna have a snack out of me, I guess. Alright, I guess I'll just go with Michelle. I guess I'll allow me to live a little longer. I want to go with you. Without saying a word, he nods again, this time to me, and shows forward with another gesture. Shifted my gaze from the dining room, I look around the dark hall in front of me with a dim light at its end. The lighting only shows a clock that stands right in the center, but even this way, it's difficult to see it. It's weird that there are no lamps or other sources of light in this hall at all. But the blooming plants that for some reason are here in this semi-darkness look strange too. Maybe they're not real? I go forward and do 3 steps. The further, the shorter. The visibility here is much worse than it seemed. As I move forward, thoughts tell me that something is not right are becoming more and more obsessive. I can't help but fixate on this unnatural atmosphere and... Why is this person following me from behind? The crushing weight of doubts slow my movements. I will keep going. I swallow and awkwardly turn back to the young man with a false smile. And like I'm making myself do it, I just keep going. Sometimes my suspicions mess up with my regular thoughts because of fatigue. But I get rid of this uneasy feeling and finally come out into the light. It immediately makes me squint. My eyes begin to wean themselves from the hallway darkness. A large staircase opens up in front of me, leading me to the 2nd floor. At its base, there are 2 identical wooden doors. The rest of the interior doesn't really catch my attention. All the furniture is blending with the walls. The room seems so luxuriously spacious, but surprisingly pale and quiet. Too quiet. Michelle. Immediately, a sharp touch on my stomach makes me turn back in fright. But a sudden pain in my neck stops me halfway. Something cold is slowly slipping under my skin. My tongue begins to freeze and tingle. I feel my muscles go numb and eyelids are closing treacherously. My body can't resist it anymore. And I fall into darkness. But, so what happens if I just suspected then? It doesn't seem right. Nothing about this seems right at all. My body fully stops and I look at the floor, thinking that it wasn't the best idea. Entering a stranger's house like this is quite dangerous. I only realize it now, standing in the center of the hallway. Perhaps such a desperate move wasn't worth all this risk, and now I need to come up with a polite excuse to leave this place. At least it's the first thing that comes to mind. I think I got a notification. It seems like reception's back. Thank you, but I think I better get back to my car. Michelle? Michelle? He's silent. Michelle? Yeah, screw it, I need to leave. Having bypassed my guide, I sadly and resolutely head for the exit. My hand confidently touches the cold metal, but the handle doesn't give. When was it locked? I hear light and hurried steps behind me with a rising heartbeat. In an attempt to turn around, I am abruptly grabbed by my stomach. In fright, I twitch and try to break out of the grip, but a sharp pain in my neck stops me. Something cold is slowly sipping under my skin. My cold tongue begins to freeze and tingle. My muscles are numb, and I'm trying with the last of my strength to punch him with my elbow. The darkness throws all its weight on me. End of day 1. Anyway, that was Run Out of Blood. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And yeah, this game is still in beta, which is why only day 1 is available. But even for day 1 drop, like this was incredibly promising. I did enjoy the writing quite a bit. I believe that the original visual novel was written in Russian, and this is basically like a translation of it. I think that the art style for this, like the art for this, is absolutely immaculate. I absolutely adored it. Let me know if you guys want me to come back for a part 2 of this when the rest of the game drops. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.